wish to ask and address ourselves on the issues of education, which have you seen are in shambles in our country at this moment. Not so as to just perhaps show the difficulties we face or even to condemn it, but because it's a calling for the whole nation, from our leaders to ourselves, to do something about the education chaos that we find ourselves in. And today I want to speak first about the chaos and the disorder and the erratic way that our grade 10 have been placed in our schools. And the second, the situation in our schools without learning, in which we are robbing a future of these same children who are in grade 7 and stayed for a year without learning, and now still not learning in grade 10. And the third, the most unjust way of the grading of the KCSE, as a Form 4 exams, in which they decided arbitrarily to omit the Kenya Sign Language in the grading, therefore denying many young people from getting a certificate, from getting a better grade. These three things are really a scar because we have not had the courage to face the problematic, systemic presentation of the CBE. CBEs can be a very good education system, but it seems we have not thought it through, and we are always knee-jerk. We are always one person making declarations, another one making another. We have the current situation where we have 100 many schools where you have more than 1,000, 2,000 in the intake of grade 10 national schools, the so-called, I think, C1 schools. These are overloaded. And then we have schools where they don't have any intake. No one. It's a complete disparate. We have students who have been taken into the national schools with 45 points, and others with grade points of 60 and above in place to some of the other poorer schools. This is a lack of justice. But that's not so much the issue as what do we do to balance a whole education system whereby we don't overload in terms of infrastructure and services some schools while we are actually killing totally the other schools. It's a problem that must be addressed by bringing teams together to study. These children have gone without studies. They are in grade 10 for now almost 2 months. 1 month is going to the second month. What are they learning? We don't have the syllabus, we don't have the books. We know there are those who are running to produce books for their kill during this season, where they are going to get the deals to give the books, the syllabus books. At the expense of these children, we are stealing and robbing the life and the future of these children. We need to sit, speak together, understand what the system is trying to do between parents, educators, Ministry of Education, the church, the stakeholders, so that we can salvage these young ones. It's not just condemning, we must salvage the situation. It has become CBE and the whole education system has become a political discussion. It has become political decisions. Whereas it's supposed to be something that is about development, it's about education, it's about a future. Surely, we must lend some time to think through this. We can't let a whole generation go to waste because we are too busy discussing, condemning, giving theories about how this or the other works or does not work. Well, currently, the CBE is in crisis. We must do something for the sake of our children. Sign language is a national language. It's a constitutional language. English, Kiswahili, and Kenya Sign Language are recognized in our country. So when the Form 4s do sign language as a language and do French or German, sign language is as important as French and German, and in our country more important. So when the examination council decided to cancel and not mark the sign language. It is saying sign language is not important. Inclusion of those our brothers and sisters with hearing disability is not important. And that is a terrible disservice, both to the inclusivity that we want to make in our nation and to the students who have done very well in sign language. Why ask them to sit the exam if at the same time you don't include the math? You have many students who have now no certificate because they didn't have the sign language. This is a disservice and an injustice. It cannot be like this. We've been insisting that people should learn sign language so as to reach to our brothers and sisters. Now, with this action, we are actually working against ourselves. We ask that be reconsidered seriously. And then finally, our education system is not something we should be experimenting every year, every day, every month. It's something we have urged, we said it before, we want to say it now. As Catholic Church, we want to sit to discuss how can we work so that our education system works, so that all our institutions have the students, so that we don't kill schools and at the same time kill them because they don't have students, and kill other schools because you cannot be in a class that was designed for 50 and you put in there 90 students without even space for the teacher to move and expect to give quality education, even in a national school. It's not doable. We don't have the infrastructure. We must really rethink. It doesn't make sense to have 20 streams. Today, in this age and era, a secondary school that has over 1,000 students does not and cannot say it's going to give quality human formation because you won't know the students. You don't have time to deal with them. We must really work about what education means. Holy Father Pope Leo has just written a document emphasizing the need to pay attention to human formation, personal contact with the student, spending time so that we make them blossom humanly as well as academically, as citizens, and as well as their own faith, Christians. That way we will have great citizens in this country. But if we're only thinking about a mass production where we just teach them mathematics and get out with, then we end up with persons who are deformed, very educated, but very deformed at the same time. So our call is, can we work together to face those big hurdles of unjust and a very unequal admission in our schools, whereby persons are not being looked at their grade and their scores. They had said that the scores during the years will be added, their gradual scores as they go. They have not. Second, the fact of education and teaching in our schools that has to, grade 10 has to continue and has to be made clear. We have to clarify that. And third, the Kenya Sign Language must be included in the results of those children who are subjects.
And maybe, do you think the entire education ministry should be reconstructed afresh to solve this issue?
In our Ministry of Education, we believe we have all the qualification and expertise to address all the problems we have. Our Ministry of Education officers must be listened to. The problem is when politics and politicians are the one determining what they want CBE to be. And they change today with the change of the political minister or the political appointee, be they the PS, or whoever else is in leadership who decides that he has and knows better about CBE, then we don't know what is the script of CBE. CBE becomes anything for anyone. Anyone who wants to contribute what CBE must be is given for once, provided he has got a microphone and a platform. They say what they want. So it's a mix. Is a total confusion. So what we need is a very well-studied, systemic addressing of what we want to do with our education. Education is not experimental. Education, we can't just be changing from one to another. We must decide what we want these children to be. Because when they do Form 4, the problem will come. Can they be admitted to other universities except in Kenya? Because we don't know what they have studied. Is it compatible with other universities? Is it compatible with South Africa, to United States and UK? Before there was no problem because it had compatibility. Now we will start negotiating. Why do we wait until these children find themselves in crisis when we could have done it before? Why did we have to wait for the grade 10 to be in crisis? Even we didn't know how they are going to grade them. Now they're in crisis in grade 10. Couldn't we have thought before? This is what we are saying. Why are we waiting when we can actually sit and discuss these issues? Why are we fearful to address problems we have? If we have a problem, let us sit and find solutions.